10 at 10.
Gotta get on with everything and do my own thing, make my life better. Court for it,
A message tonight from a man labeled as a high-risk sex offender. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. Fargo police want the community to be aware that a sex offender has moved into a house very close to NDSU on College Street North. 22-year-old Timothy Bullinger was convicted of gross sexual imposition for having sex with a 14-year-old when he was 18 or 19 years old.
Bullinger tells us the reason he moved to Fargo is because he's trying to get his life together. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Nicole Johnson has his story.
In a neighborhood just blocks from NDSU, Timothy Bullinger has moved into this house, a house part of a ministry where recovering drug addicts are trying to transition back into the community.
I'm gonna try getting my risk level lowered. That way I can, I don't know, have so much heat on me.
As a high-risk sex offender, every time he moves, police tell the public.
I ain't gonna harm their children or nothing. It was a boyfriend and girlfriend deal.
Bullinger claims the relationship he got in trouble for was consensual.
I had consent from the parents to live at their house. I was living with them at the time of the incident, and things went wrong.
Things went wrong when he got her pregnant, and his addiction to drugs led him to run from police. An addiction he's now trying to recover from.
Drugs and alcohol, it always goes back to the core issue of it. You know, we all do stupid things when we're under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and I believe that's usually what happens. I know I made a lot of mistakes in my lifetime as a result of drinking and drugging, and that's what happened to a lot of these guys here. They just make stupid mistakes. You know, it's an addiction, it's evil, you know, and we do evil things sometimes.
Bullinger is working on getting a job and taking the steps to someday see his daughter again.
Try and hope things will get better.
He hopes people won't paint him with a broad brush, saying his past isn't the same as every sex offender out there. Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
Fargo police say a lot of people ask if the sex offender moving nearby is dangerous. While Bullinger has been assessed as high risk by the state, Fargo police say none of the high-risk offenders living in Fargo have been charged with another sex crime in Fargo.
In Grand Forks, police are looking for a man tied to an attempted robbery tonight, shortly after 7 o'clock. It happened at 2207 Demers Avenue. That's at the J&J Laundromat and Car Wash. Police say the man attempted to open a change machine. Now, no injuries were reported, no weapons were displayed. Police are looking for a 20 to 30-year-old white male who's about 6 foot 1 inches tall with scruffy facial hair, medium-length brown hair. He was wearing a white long-sleeve sweatshirt and gray or tan cargo shorts. He was also wearing black Nike tennis shoes with a white Nike sign. He left in a silver Lincoln Navigator that had damage to the grille. The North Dakota license plate may be similar to BEY 136. If you have any information, call Grand Forks PD.
T-minus 10 days until your kids in Fargo are back in class. And after the initial shock about finding powerful drugs in school, what's being done to keep kids safe? Fargo Public Schools says it's moving resources around to include mental health and at-risk youth counselors at the middle and high school levels. That includes making sure staff know what to look for. But the district says this isn't just an isolated school problem. It's a community-wide issue.
That it's happening in our community. I think it's frightening for people who have kids in college, for people who live within our community. I think the difference this time around with this kind of opiate issue is that it's death if it's, you know, if things go bad.
West Fargo says it plans to send information to parents. In Moorhead, the school district is informing parents when they arrive for orientation.
Former Fargo Moorhead Redhawks player Jake Labor passed away yesterday. The cause of death is still unknown. Labor was recently undergoing treatments for a curable form of cancer. He retired from baseball with the most wins in FM Redhawks history. He was a star at Fargo North High School and for the Fargo Post 2 American Legion program before moving on to pitch for the NDSU Bison. Redhawks Vice President and General Manager Josh Buckold says Labor will be missed.
Amazing thing about Jake is he never missed a start. You know, he was a fitness freak. He loved to work out. He made sure when he came into the season, he was ready to go. I don't think he ever stopped training from baseball season to off season. I think it was something that he truly enjoyed. And, you know, That's rare. And that led to his success. I mean, he was a guy that you could count on every 5 days, 20, 21 starts a year. You handed him the ball, and he's going to go out there and he's going to pitch.
Making matters even more difficult, Labor's wedding was scheduled for this Friday. Beth Houle and Alex Egan will have much more later in sports.
Here's an update to a story we told you about last night on Valley News Live 10 at 10. A local man has received his refund from the West Fargo company Bath Planet. The man claimed the business took his deposit, then tried to install the wrong product weeks after they said the work would have been done. The two parties had issues getting in touch until Valley News Live got involved. Now there are lessons to be learned for consumers. Make sure you understand the total scope of the work and accurately communicate your expectations. Also, if you don't hear from the company in the time they said they would complete the work, make sure you get in touch with them and demand to know what's causing the holdup. If you have similar issues or news tips, call our whistleblower hotline, 237-6576, and leave your tip.
Hyatt, Sheraton, Marriott, and Westin hotels in 10 states have been targeted by hackers. 3 of the more than 60 hotels that may have been breached are in Minnesota. Now, reports say that malware may have collected names, card account numbers, card expiration dates, and verification codes. Data from customers may have been collected from early December through late June. And at some properties, data collection may have begun as early as March of 2015. Now, for a look at the specific hotels and locations in Minnesota that were hit, head to our website, valleynewslive.com, and click on this story.
FedEx is asking the city of Fargo to live up to the deal it made. The city agreed to a 10-year tax break worth more than $600,000 to get the shipping giant to expand at Hector Airport. The deal would include a FedEx investment of $6.3 million and the creation of 75 full and part-time jobs. The move has been questioned by some on the commission. Tonight, a FedEx vice president explained that his company pursued the incentives properly.
It was raised with the city in November. It met with the criteria. We were told pilots are available, and we acted accordingly. That is your city's policy, and we're asking Fargo to stand up behind its own policy.
Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney says the pilot incentive is a sound investment. The matter could still resurface. Commissioner Tony Gehrig indicated he would ask that the commission re-vote on the matter again.
A curfew is in effect this week in Milwaukee after 14 people were arrested. 1 person was shot. Several officers were injured during protests last night. It makes for 2 nights of violence, gunfire, and destruction. Law enforcement officials say body cam video shows a 23-year-old man on foot running away from police after a traffic stop, raising what appears to be a gun in his hand, and then an officer firing 2 fatal shots.
The death toll and the misery index are rising in flood-ravaged Louisiana. At least 7 people are dead. 12,000 others are living in shelters. The number of rescues has reached 20,000 after a staggering amount of rain, as much as 2.5 feet in just 72 hours in some places. Today, many rivers are receding but are still at record levels. Now there's tropical moisture spreading west and north, putting 20 million people in 6 states under flood watches. Red Cross volunteers from Valley City, Grand Forks, and Minot are heading to the teeth of the flooding, and they're taking 2 emergency response vehicles with them. They'll help provide meals for the victims and volunteers there.
To help the construction process of the new Fargo City Hall, the parking lot, which is located just east of the current City Hall, will be closed starting tomorrow. This temporary lot is now open to the Civic Quad. This is to the west of the current City Hall and south of the Civic Center. You can enter the parking lot by going through the library's parking lot off of 4th Street North. This temporary lot has 37 parking spaces. The main public entry for City Hall is now the doors found on the west side of City Hall. The new City Hall, that's set to open in late 2018.
The Minnesota Department of Transportation posted pictures on its Facebook page today of a dog being rescued from a rock wall in Virginia, Minnesota. Here they are. Last week, the runaway dog found herself in a less than ideal situation. The 12-year-old retriever tried to climb down a rock wall, but got herself stuck. Luckily, workers spotted her and were able to quickly get her down with the help of a man lift. The pup had an ID tag with a phone number, so within half an hour, the lucky dog was on her way home with her family.